Okay, we are now live.
Okay, welcome to the July 20th, 2020 meeting of the Town of Dover Planning Board. Today's meeting has been convened in accordance with the Governor's March 13th, 2020 Executive Order 202.1, which suspends certain provisions of the open meetings law to allow a municipal board to convene a meeting via video conferencing. In accordance with the executive order, the public has been provided with the ability to view the meeting, and a transcript will be provided at a later date. I have confirmed that this meeting has been duly noticed. We have fulfilled our legal notice requirements by posting notice at Town Hall, providing notice of the meeting to local news organizations, and posting notice on the town's website, as well as a sign on the actual application site. Please stand for the Pledge to Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first up, we have a public hearing for.
Why don't we go ahead and admit the, I'll do that. Here we go. Go ahead, Val, I'm sorry.
Public hearing for 3185 Route 22, Cazada. The plans are prepared by Renia Engineering, and the property is located again at 3185 Route 22. This is an application for site plan, commercial residential development in the HM zoning district. We last discussed this application at the July 7th meeting, where we reviewed the latest submittals of June 16th, agency responses, changes to the regarding timber rattlers, and we also conducted the ARB review. So tonight we have the public hearing. Could I have a motion to open the public hearing? Or I move to open the public hearing. Could I have a second?
Second.
Valerie, you said that it was last discussed on July 7th, but that was July 6th.
July 6th, okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 So if you have the applicant do a presentation quick, do you want me to share anything in particular on the
Well,
screen?
just as a formality, let me just say the hearing is open. And yes, the applicant should do a short presentation.
All right.
Want me to share the site plan, Peter?
Yeah, if you want to share the site plan, that'd be great.
Okay, hang on a second.
Yep. We're getting pretty good at these Zoom meetings.
It's loading up. This is the one from April. I don't think it's changed since then.
Right.
Correct me
Yep.
if I'm wrong. Okay.
Let's see. I don't see any waiting room.
Oh, I let in Mr. Shelters already.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do a screen share. Hang on. Okay.
All right. So let me just begin. So the proposed project site is in the town of, in the village of Dover. It's at 3185 Route 22. The project parcel is a 1.995 acre parcel located within the Hamlet mixed-use district. It was the site of an old mixed-use commercial residential structure which burned down in 2018. The applicants are proposing to redevelop the site similar to the former use as commercial, retail, and residential. The former structure was approximately 6,545 square feet featured a 35-seat restaurant and 6 dwelling units, which are located in the first and second floors of the structure. The proposed project calls for the development of 3 new buildings to replace that former use. The first and primary building would be the 6,100 square foot commercial building towards the eastern side of the site, also known as Building 1. That structure will be a 1-story structure and will contain a mix of retail and restaurant use. The proposed restaurant is expected to have 53 seats and occupy approximately 1,800 square feet, with the retail being in the southern portion of the structure. And that's approximately 4,300 square feet. Included within the commercial structure development is the addition of an outdoor patio, which is on the eastern portion of the site, new sidewalk connections, a loading area towards the rear of the structure, and a new refuge area. Moving on towards the western end of the parcel, where the 2 new residences will be located. Each residence will contain 4 dwelling units and be approximately 4,960 square feet, and that's a 2-story structure. So in reality, the footprint of each of these buildings would be 2,480 square feet. The 2 residences will contain a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, bringing that total up to 8 dwelling units, with 4 single bedroom apartments in one structure and 1 single bedroom apartment in the other, plus 3 2-bedroom structures. Included in this portion of the development is a central courtyard with a sidewalk. Per our discussions with the fire department, that will also serve as fire access and will be reinforced in order to have a fire truck drive in that area. Also included is a new refuge area, which is on the northern section of the parking lot, and the associated parking spots. Also included as part of this project, we have prepared a landscaping plan, which was approved by the planning board, a new septic system, which will be located in the southern portion of the this project site, and that will be used to treat the new residences. The proposed commercial structure will reuse the existing septic that was serving the former building, and has all been sized appropriately. Also included, we've completed a lighting plan, which shows appropriate lighting throughout the site, as well as we have completed a SWIP for the over an acre of disturbance that the proposed project is expected to produce. That was submitted last submission and was reviewed and approved by the planning board engineer. With that, the project's fairly straightforward. We've discussed it plenty of times, and I look forward to hearing any public comments.
Okay, very good. Do we want to stop sharing the screen and have the member of the public speak? We have tonight with us Jeff Shelter. Where do I see him? Here he is.
Hello.
Good evening. You have been recognized for your public comment.
The couple question I had is the original structure going to go in the same spot the other structure was, because there was sightline issues when you were trying to pull out of that parking area or the driveway area to the south end.
Should I address each comment as he asks them, or should he go through his comments and then I'll address each one? Which is the way the board wants this to be done?
Well, that was more or less a question, so I think it might be good just to go ahead and answer it if you have an answer ready while it's fresh.
Okay. So the proposed building will occupy the bulk of the former structure spot. It's a little bit bigger, and we're maintaining both entrances, but northern entrance is now converted into a one lane, turning in only. Whereas the primary entrance for that site will be that second southern entrance. We don't really anticipate any view lines or problems with that, just because you got pretty good sight on either side and it's more cleared. I believe it's also a little more pushed back, so that should also alleviate any sightline issues.
Okay, as long as the building's pushed back from where it was before, because before you had to pull out onto 22, basically the nose of the vehicle had to be real close to that white line in order to look in the northerly direction and get a clear view of traffic.
Yeah, I don't anticipate that being any more of an issue with this new layout that we have proposed.
And then, as far as the restaurant, where is the entrance to the restaurant? Is it off the east side on the 22 corridor again, or is it around the sides now?
If you take a look, where we're gonna have that entrance is, you see where the building begins to jut out to the eastern side? Right along there, and it'll be going, the entrance, you'll be walking in north through the structure. Yeah, so right there where Aaron's cursor is currently located.
Okay. Historically, prior to the building being burned down, there was always a garbage issue coming from that parcel. The neighbors and myself numerous times had to go speak with them, especially after the weekends. When they had a lot of clientele in and out of there, they would just walk out. Whatever they opened up, whatever they were drinking, I could tell you Monday morning, along with the quantity. So several times we had to talk with them about that, and I would just like that addressed in the notes.
Okay, so yeah, with the new refuge and waste disposal areas that we have proposed, it should alleviate that issue. Again, that's more on as the owner keep rather than the site plan. But I think that our new refuge containers and disposal areas should alleviate that issue as well. Also, they'll be better screened than how it was previously, with the residentials in the back and everything a little more laid out. So I really think that would alleviate that issue.
Okay.
One other thing that we might be able to do is to make sure that there's some sort of a permanent outdoor garbage container, something that's, nice looking. That might help, because it sounds like what you're saying, Jeff, is that clientele would buy different things at the convenience store part of it, say, and then wrappers. Is that what you're talking about? Wrappers or cups or a bottle or, something like that, where if there was a receptacle outside, they could toss it in it rather than.
Correct. That's generally what it is. Wrappers and bottles are just all over the place.
Okay, I would think, just like if you take Dunkin' Donuts, for example, on the outside, there's a garbage can right outside the door. So it would make sense. And not everybody's going to do it, but hopefully you put it there and the majority of people will use it.
Correct.
Yep.
Other than that, I think it's a great design.
Well, thank you.
Okay, did you have any more questions, Jeff?
Nope, that's it. I'm good.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. Do we have anything from comments from the consultants?
Just there was a few from my last memo that I understand they're working on revising. So they were just checking, I think, to see if there was anything else tonight that they had to add on. So if you guys could just give an update for the board on what the status of those comments. They were very minor, just related to the EAF, updating language about timber rattlesnakes, the board's determination. I think that was really it.
Yeah, the biggest left with Aaron was for us to add a note into the narrative regarding the rattlesnakes. So we've analyzed the site and pretty much established that it doesn't really contain any rattlesnake habitat, and so therefore wouldn't really support any sort of rattlesnake population, either permanent or migratory. So we've added notation in our narrative addressing that, and we'll be submitting that as soon as we can, because now that we realize that we have all public comments. So I believe that was the one major comment.
Well, the public comment period will remain open for 10 days. Just how we're doing these virtual meetings, but yeah, if you're able to get that in during that window, that would be preferred.
Gotcha.
Okay. Do we have anyone that would like, anyone else from the consultants that would like to give a comment?
All of my, this is Joe Berger, all of my concerns have been met, so I had no further comments.
Okay, how about the board? Do we have any comments from the board?
Comment.
Go ahead. Oh. I can't hear anything.
Might have just been background noise.
Oh, I thought maybe Bill, it looked like Bill was trying to say something first.
No, I just unmuted myself.
Oh, okay. So if there's no more comments, then we'll just reiterate that the public comment period is still open for 10 more days for written comments. So if anyone that's watching from home would like to submit them, that would be fine. And if,
So it'd be a motion to close the public hearing and leave it open for written comments for 10 days.
yes, I make that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Bill, will the secretary poll the members?
Cal,
Aye.
Tamar,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Okay, that's everyone.
Okay, the public hearing is closed except for the 10-day comment period.
And so would we be provided copies of any comments received and then given time to address those? Or how would that work on our end?
Yes, you would definitely be provided.
Okay, gotcha.
We're not going to keep it a secret.
Surprise.
Telepathy.
Okay, next we have Route 22 miniature golf. This is an application on Route 22, 3202, roughly across from Cumberland Farms. It's an application for a mini golf recreational site in what used to be the footprint of the bowling alley. At the July 6th meeting, we discussed the submission and consultant comments and set escrow. And on July 14th, we had a site walk and it was very well attended. So tonight we'll discuss that along with the status of the referrals and responses in order to determine the next steps. So does someone from the applicant's team wish to prepare or to present a presentation?
Again, Peter Sander from Rennie Engineering, representing the applicant. Just to quickly run through the proposed project. So the proposed project is on a 1.5 acre site within the Hamlet Mixed Use Zoning District in the Dover Plains Hamlet. It is a already developed site with the site already containing a multi-family structure that contains 5 dwelling units, as well as an ice cream parlor. The site also contains a seasonal food truck and its associated commissary. We are proposing that an 18-hole miniature golf course be added to the eastern or rear portion of the site. As part of that proposed development, it's approximately 7,100 square feet of play area, the addition of a mixture of gravel and concrete walking paths, a 93.5 square foot starter house, which will be used to both monitor the course and distribute any equipment such as golf clubs, golf balls, scorecards, and associated things like that. Also included is decorative landscaping to give it more of an aesthetic feel and also to screen any of the proposed lighting. And also a fence will be included around, which will pretty much delineate the miniature golf area and keep that separate from all the other uses. Also included as part of this proposed project is a formalization of the site's parking, as well as any associated striping, and the addition of a little bit more pavement, which will allow for greater parking. The last submission that we had was kind of an impromptu submission to address some drafting and line type issues, which show limited disturbance within the wetland adjacent area. We've adjusted that to bring it in and prepare that for circulation. As you can see, no disturbance will be within that wetland adjacent area. And as part of our next submission, we'll address some of the consultants' comments, which include a seeker narrative addressing the special use permit findings for the site, as it is a major project, as well as kind of discussing the operations of the site and how it will be used. Also included will be a lighting plan, as requested by the board, and a revised EAF, which will reference the narrative discussing the site operations. And we'll address any comments that you guys have tonight regarding that last site walk that we had on July 14th. And with that, I'd like to hand it back to you guys and be open to see it or receive any of your comments.
Okay, thank you. Do we have discussion? Did we want to go over the comment memo?
There was only a few that were still applicable.
Okay.
But I'll go over just real quick. So Joe, and in response to Joe's comments, they did revise this site plan. The one on the screen here is the latest one. It shows a delineated disturbance line, showing that they're outside of the 100-foot wetland adjacent area, which is right here, no longer within that line. And also they're no longer showing repaving within the right of way of Route 22 at Joe's request, which was a good one. So that we were sure there's no permits with DOT on this one. Otherwise, a lot of my questions were answered at the site walk, but like Peter said, it would be great to get that written down into the application material, just summarizing those points. So the environmental review is clear on use and consistency with adjacent and on-site land uses, which it is. Otherwise, the site, it's pretty straightforward. It's, for those that were on the site walk, it's pretty much graded and ready there now, it seems. You can see the extent of the mini golf when you're standing at the edge of the parking lot here. So there's not too much to it. Yeah, so most of my concerns have been addressed, and they'll get those revised materials over.
All right.
Hey, did you have anything, Joe?
To mute myself. No, I have no comments. The maps were revised as I suggested, and it looks good.
Okay, Victoria. Oh, can she not unmute herself?
Sorry, I was muted. I was just noting that the project had been circulated to the involved and interested agencies, that we're still waiting to hear back from a few of them. But that if the board is ready, we could consider setting a hearing for the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to request that public hearing, just because these items that we're submitting doesn't really change the nature of the project at all. I think it would be ready for public hearing.
So it looks like the materials went out just last week. So the board should consider whether it makes sense to set the hearing for the second meeting in August, just so 30 days has passed.
I would like to request it be set in the sooner meeting, just because being that this is a seasonal business, the more time that we can have this move along through the planning board process, the more time the applicant could be able to use the site if the planning board votes to approve it.
Okay.
Peter, perhaps you could reach out to the agencies and get their response back before that meeting.
Okay, do we know which agencies we haven't got a response back from yet?
All of the ones that we submitted it to Dutchess County Department of Planning,
Mhm.
State DOT, DC, JH Ketchum, and Dutchess County Board of Health.
And we haven't heard back from any of them?
Well, we did get a letter from the Board of Health saying that the
Approved
separate
it.
was approved.
Okay.
Right, that was forwarded to us from the applicant
That
today.
was taken care of by the applicant outside of this forum.
Oh, okay.
Well, Peter, you could contact these agencies and perhaps get the responses back to the town
Gotcha.
prior to the meeting.
Yep, I will get on it and make some phone calls.
This
One
begs the
other-
next question. Is the board gonna have 2 meetings in August or 1?
Two sounds good. I was just gonna throw in, if we have the public hearing at the first meeting in August, then you're gonna leave public comment open for 10 additional days after that.
Mhm.
So that kind of plays in with the 30 days as well. So, kind of riding out the 30 days, riding out 10 days of additional comment. If you could do that at the first meeting, then at the second meeting, all that could be hopefully done.
That's true. That's good.
Okay.
Fits into 2 meetings in August better.
I can't, do we still need to look at the site plan?
No.
Because it's hard to tell who's talking when okay.
Okay.
So is there anyone on the board that would object to having 2 meetings in August? I think it would probably be a good idea to go ahead, full steam ahead, especially seeing as how we're coming up, like they said, on the end of the building season. So, does anyone on the board want to weigh in on the site walk? Have any comments on the site walk? Just raise your hand and. No? Okay. So I make a motion then that we set a public hearing for the first meeting in August, which would be
August 3rd.
August 3rd. Can we have a second?
Second,
Tamar? Will the secretary poll the members?
Al,
Aye.
Tamar,
aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
and Bill.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The public hearing is set for August 3rd.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. So next on the agenda, we have 2 applications for extensions. The first one is a request for an extension on the tolling period to complete the certification of the conditions to sign the site plan. And we have a resolution for that for Dover Greens. Has everyone had a chance to review the resolution? If so,
It basically adds 60 days to the time to review it.
right. So the resolution reads, the end of the resolution reads, now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby applies the tolling period to the applicant's project and extends the time to demonstrate satisfaction of the conditions of approval for the project in accordance with the September 19th, 2016 resolution of approvals to October 30th, 2020. And I make a motion to approve this extension. Do we have a second?
Second.
Is that Bill?
Henry,
Henry.
okay, thank you.
Can the secretary poll the members?
Val,
Aye.
Tamar,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
and Bill.
Aye.
Okay, the resolution is approved. The second one is an application for an extension on the erosion and sediment control permit for Stony Brook Estates. And has everyone had a chance to review this resolution? Okay, therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby grants a one-year extension of erosion and sediment control permit approval to September 3rd, 2021, subject to the following conditions. Payment of all fees in escrow, confirmation that the required performance guarantee is in full force and effect through September 3rd, 2021. I make a motion to accept this resolution. And can we have a second?
Second.
Tamar? The secretary will poll the board.
Val,
Aye.
Mar,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
and Bill.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, you
Thank
are
you,
good to
everybody.
go. Question, Randy?
Just saying thank you. No, good to see everybody.
Okay. For your sake, I hope we don't see you again, but we always like to see your smiling face.
Thank you. And from your mouth to God's ears, but no. Hopefully we get to see each other in person again. Although you're right.
That'll be nice.
Thank you,
Okay,
everybody. Have a good night.
you too.
I also just want to say thank you and have a good night, everyone.
We're not done. Oh, you're leaving.
I'm
Okay.
leaving.
Right.
Bye,
Good night,
guys.
Peter. Bye.
Bye.
Everybody, I just wanted to touch base on Dover Greens real quick. There was a bunch of emails going back and forth with DOT. Just so everybody has a full understanding of what was going on with New York State DOT. So the applicant, Dover Greens, separately applied to DOT so that they could get a highway work permit to take the pavement up that's in their existing pavement and their curbing and redo that as part of their idea to freshen and make the whole entrance look brand new. Everybody's seen the landscaping and the entrance columns that they did. So in the process of trying to do that, that's where the letter came from DOT. So the DOT kind of doesn't know all of the information that you put the applicant through on the seeker process. And they don't understand, they weren't understanding that you only approve phase one and that full studies would have to be done with expansions of that, but way down the road at a later date. So that's the basis of what was going on there. I just wanted everybody to have a clear understanding of where that even came from.
So were you able to sort that out by giving them a copy of the board's documents, or is this still in limbo?
Well, it got confusing because they asked our firm to just put together a highway work plan. And then they hired a different traffic engineer because they came back, DOT came back and said that they needed a traffic study. So they hired a different traffic engineer. Then they lost base with us. So we didn't know what was going on for probably a year or a half a year at least. So I think there is still some confusion with DOT. I myself have not had any contact with DOT. But we were going to try to get that straightened out for them. But it looks like at the end of the day, DOT was looking for something from the town, basically saying what you've already required in the application, that the full traffic studies have to be done at a later date.
That makes sense. I can call them again tomorrow. I didn't understand they didn't fill me in that there was a work permit being filed. So they themselves, so let me try to get back with them and fill them in and see what we can get done. No, I did not know that they were talking about this traffic engineer, and I didn't know that you had filed for a work permit, or did they tell me?
Yes, yeah, it got very confusing and about 7 or 8 different people at DOT, everybody commenting and back and forth, and then to add into it, then Metro North gets involved, the MTA, so it got very confusing. Just so in essence, they could repave and put in new curbing.
Let me try to straighten it out and then determine what we need to do. And I'll touch base with Aaron and Victoria on this.
Just be a matter of getting the resolution over to them that just explains all that and the phasing and the future
There were
study.
there was a very long secret document on this
Yeah,
one.
yeah, it's too big. I'll send that over to them. I think I'll try to walk them through it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
Let me
great.
know, Joe, if you
And
need something from me. I wasn't
Absolutely.
around for that one, but I can track down files easily.
Is that the only thing holding up the signature on this one?
As far as I know, I mean, if they want to finish spiffing up the intersection, I think it would really be a shame to make that wait for the full traffic study in a later phase, because it's only going to enhance the look of the town.
Yeah. Well, they could do that outside the site plan because that's a work permit. Right?
Yeah.
So
The letter
would
seemed
stop-
to.
That shouldn't stop them from getting site plan signed, right?
Right. I mean, I think they're talking about two different things. They've asked for the site plan, and then we have this DOT issue.
So that shouldn't be anything that affects the site plan. That's after the fact. I don't think I don't know about planning, but there's no more engineering concerns.
I'll have to look at the resolution again to make sure that all the rest of the issues were solved. It seems like they were. It seemed like that was the only outstanding issue.
So, Aaron, is that something we
Doesn't seem, yeah, I mean,
should we have a final letter from you, Aaron, or something that everything's taken care of, or what do we need for the record?
well, most of the conditions that were sent in, it was a couple months back, they were mostly engineering SWIFT and things like that. And I think you looked at them already. I
did.
didn't have anything.
Yeah, I sent the memo that everything was done. So
Okay.
So we should be okay.
But I think this DOT thing sounds like it's more of a full build out issue.
I
Not
think so,
really
too.
related to this phase 1 approval.
I agree.
But we should still get DOT what they need to understand the issue.
I agree. Okay.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we have a resolution to return the unused portion of the following escrow accounts. Wesco,
I'm sorry. Didn't we have to, wasn't the agenda item on Dover Green's extension?
we voted on it.
We
and-
voted on that already.
Oh, you did? Sorry. Excuse me.
And then Rich just wanted to come back and clarify something.
Got it.
So the following escrow accounts, they're for projects that have still a little bit of money in the escrow that's not going to be used because we're all done with the work. Westover Road, Rodina, 1296 Route 22, Bufamonte, Scaria, Dover Firehouse, Rouse Subdivision, and Ames LLC. Has everyone had a chance to review this resolution?
Yes.
Yeah, I just have one question for Victoria. I had to
Okay.
recuse myself from the Route 22 project. Does that affect me voting on this resolution?
You know what? No, I don't think so, because you're just voting to return the escrow.
I'm back.
I mean, it's not substantive, it's technical.
That's what I thought. Just wanted to check.
Okay.
I'm back.
Okay.
So now therefore be it resolved that the planning board of the town of Dover does hereby authorize that the following planning board escrow be returned to the applicant as set forth below. I don't need to read the amounts into the record, do I, Victoria?
No,
Okay.
just motion to adopt the resolution.
I move we adopt this resolution. Could we have a second?
Second.
Bill? Oh, and will the secretary please poll the members?
Sure. Val,
Aye.
Tamar,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
and Henry.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the resolution is approved. Next, we have the minutes. Does anyone have any additions, changes, alterations? No? I make a motion to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Bill,
Henry.
Henry?
Yes.
So, oh, are you calling on them?
I can. Henry,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Tamar,
Aye.
and Valerie.
Aye. Okay, the minutes of the July 6th meeting are approved.
For the record, that was Henry that seconded that.
I got that, Bill. Yes.
Okay. I wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Val, can I just make a comment before we close the meeting?
Mhm.
I would just like to thank the planning board for allowing me to be the secretary for the last 6 months. I've enjoyed it, but I've been offered a full-time job, and I'm going to take that. So Marilyn Van Millen will be taking over as planning board secretary.
Thank
you,
Best
Lisa.
of luck, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank
Good luck, Lisa. Thank you very much.
Excellent
Appreciate
work, Lisa. And we will welcome Marilyn, but she's muted. But hopefully, I imagine she can hear us, that we will definitely welcome her at the next meeting. And Lisa,
I'm unmuted.
Oh, Marilyn's unmuted now.
I'm back. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
okay, great.
All right.
And good luck, Lisa, on your next venture.
Thank you.
Done an excellent job with us.
Thank you.
We keep getting lucky, so I guess now the only order of business we have left is to adjourn the meeting. So I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Henry? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 7:46.
Yay.